Welcome to TRT World and the Romanian capital of Bucharest. My name is Semir Seyfovic, and in a new style and edition of the show, our team will provide you with the latest information from the region. So let us take you across the Balkans. There's a sense of relief across Europe's political establishment after Romania's centrist Bucharest Mayor Nicușor Dan won a decisive victory in Sunday's presidential election. Nicușor surged in the final days of the campaign, countering fears that far-right, pro-Trump, and Eurosceptic candidate George Simion could win. Adam Amunu reports.
Excitement in the streets of Bucharest as thousands celebrated its Mayor Nicușor Dan's victory in Sunday's presidential runoff.
E victoria voastră, să știți! E victoria mii și mii de oameni care au făcut campanie zilele astea, care au crezut că România poate să se schimbe în direcția corectă.
The former mathematician and pro-European beat the odds by defeating far-right nationalist George Simion of the Alliance for the Union of Romanians party. Simion was projected to win a race some saw as a stark choice between East and West for the country, and it's easy to see why after he won 41% of the vote, almost double Dan's score during the first round ballot on the 4th of May. Simion prematurely declared himself as Romania's new leader.
Noul președinte al României. Și vă rog să lăsați toți românii care în acest moment sunt la cozi să-și exercite democratic dreptul la vot.
But official data showed Dan won nearly 54% of the votes, while Simion trailed at just over 46%. More than 60% of Romania's 19 million population voted, the largest turnout in the last 30 years. And in this social media post, Simion had no choice but to concede to his opponent. But just days later, he asked a top court to annul the results, alleging foreign interference from France, Moldova, and other actors had affected the vote. In Bucharest, many expressed relief and hope.
Well, they're certainly better than I thought they would be. Honestly, I didn't have much hope for Nicușor Dan winning, but I'm glad he did.
Primul rând, nu e nici capabil. Eu n-am studii, adică nu e nici capabil de să conduce Bucureștiul, n-a fost capabil. Sau o țară.
Sunday's election took place almost 6 months after an initial ballot was cancelled in December. Romania's constitutional court said Russia had interfered and favoured far-right politician Călin Georgescu to win the first round. Russia has denied the allegations. Although Georgescu was banned from standing this time around, Simion said he would have nominated him as Prime Minister if he won the election. Romania's election is part of a broader shift to the right, mirroring what has been taking place across Europe, where far-right parties have made greater gains in recent elections, like in Poland, Portugal, and Germany. Analysts suggest if Simion had won, it would have resulted in Romania becoming isolated internationally, both within the EU and NATO, of which it is a member, and that Dan now faces the challenge of bridging the divide that exists within Romanian society.
He's going to return to the Romanian foreign policy common sense. What do I mean by this? Ever since the 90s, we had like a foreign policy consensus that our prosperity is linked to the EU and our security is linked to NATO and our American friends. So although Simion played the MAGA card, of course, Nicușor Dan knows very well that it's in Romanian interest to normalize any kind of relationship with the Trump administration.
For now, Romania has chosen continuity over confrontation, but with Simion's new contestation, the story appears to be far from over. Adam Amunu across the Balkans.
Like many countries in the EU, Romania has an aging population and less people are living in rural areas. An open-air village museum in the nation's capital, Bucharest, is trying to safekeep the traditional architecture and culture alive. Gökçen Ardic has more.
In the last 35 years, Romania's population has steadily declined. with around 55% now living in urban areas. As Bucharest becomes the sixth largest city in Europe, the nation faces significant challenges, including an aging population and a troubling brain drain. In an era of rapid globalization and modernization, how do we stay connected to our roots? How do we preserve the essence of our traditions? The answer might lie in the world's largest village museum, right here in Bucharest.
The village museum, Dimitrie Gusti, was founded by Dimitrie Gusti, a great professor and sociologist who researched in more than 600 villages in Romania between 1920 and 1936, and he wanted very much to preserve what he found in those different villages, because he was a visionary. He was thinking what we are thinking even now, that the Romanian village will be lost. So if you don't preserve in one place the Romanian rural architecture and way of living, we will not have them anymore in the future. Today, after 89 years of passing yet, we have 15 hectares and 404 monuments of rural architecture.
Global cities are evolving into international hubs, with their distinctive architectural styles often blurred in the pursuit of a modern identity. Yet, just 7 kilometers from Bucharest's bustling city center, the village museum offers an authentic window into Romania's soul through traditional village houses, windmills, wooden churches, and intimate depictions of rural life.
When you want to visit Romania in only 1 hour, you can do it here at the Village Museum. Is split into parts, let's say administrative parts. The old village, where we are now, and the new village. The old village is also split in 5 historical provinces, the 5 historical provinces of Romania that were in 1936: Transylvania, Moldavia, Dobrogea, Muntenia, and Oltenia. We are now in Dobrogea, in front of one of the households that are representing one of the minority groups that we have in Romania. You know that in Romania now we have 20 minority groups that are being also represented in the parliament, and 7 of them are represented in the village museum with houses. So from 20 we have 7 houses reflecting the good collaboration and the good convivence that we had and we have with ethnic groups in Romania. All the houses in the village museum are like small museums, because each house is having an interior representing the zone from which is coming. All these houses are original. Most of them have mainly 150 years. Some of them are having even 300 years old. They were brought here piece by piece, like a Lego game, you know, dismantled from the field and re-put back here in the museum. And practically they are original, and the interiors as well.
Spanning more than 100,000 square meters, the museum houses 404 monuments and over 50,000 artifacts representing Romania's rich cultural heritage. The museum comes alive with the regular presence of artisans, transforming it into a vibrant village with a living, breathing community. With only 10% of Romania's population under the age of 24, artisans face the daunting challenge of passing down their crafts to the younger generation in a rapidly urbanizing society.
Practically each month we have mainly 3 or 4 events that are representing or that are practically showcasing the traditions of the Romanian peasants and the village, craft fairs with the participation of craft people, but also small producers of different kind of foods, fruits and vegetables. We have workshops for children in a program of transmitting from generation to generation the crafts so that they cannot be forgotten. We have exhibitions that are valorizing our collections of different kind of objects that we have in the museum, because we have the house with the interiors, but also we have some collections that are guarding beautiful and important pieces of cloth or coverlets, all kind of these objects that we need for preserving them for the future.
Local and international visitors flock to the village museum to step back in time and experience a day from not-so-distant generations. Here, they celebrate a sustainable, culturally rich lifestyle, foundation of Romania's past.
It's very important for our kids to see what it's like to grow on the countryside, as we live in a city full of cars and buildings. Yeah. It's part of our traditions. We have to give it to them, to show them our culture.
How we live our childhood.
Yeah.
Our grandfathers live like that, and now they cannot see in real life.
Or maybe they want to move to the countryside. Maybe they like it.
While the world rushes to build vertical paradises and rooftop gardens to feel connected to nature, the Village Museum offers something more profound, a place where the rhythms of nature and the heartbeat of ancient traditions still thrive, reminding us of a simpler, more sustainable way of life. Gökçe Nardıç, TRT World, Bucharest, Romania.
According to Eurostat, Romania faced one of the highest brain drain rates in the world, with over 2 million people, many highly educated, leaving in the past 10 to 15 years. Across the Balkans, an unprecedented number of people are leaving in search of a better life abroad. Montenegro is no exception. The small Balkan nation faces a population decline, and in one remote village, 8-year-old Hana Siric is the only student in her school.
In a remote northern village in Montenegro, tucked between empty homes and abandoned fields, time moves slower. Here, life whispers, and only one child's voice carries through the quiet. Hana is 8 years old. Every morning, she makes this walk alone, because she is the only student in her school.
Ja mnogo volim da idem u školu. Voljela bi da imam drugare u školu.
Da.
Dobar dan.
Dobar dan.
Her school, once filled with children's chatter, now echoes only with her steps and the gentle voice of her teacher.
Mi počinjemo ujutro u 8:30. Hana je već i duži niz godina, već od 10 godina gotovo po jedan učenik bude, pa smo već navikli. Hanu vidim kao jednu dobru učenicu. Hana je jedno vaspitano, što kažu, dijete. Računam da će biti odlična učenica i dobra, što kažu, sutra stasala, ali školovana da bude djevojka. Koji bude broj? Kad ne 4 do 2, 2.
6. Moj omiljeni je predmet matematika. Kad sam kući, ja volim da pišem i da crtam.
Next year, her younger sister will join her. 2 desks will be filled. But what happens the year after that? Schools in northern Montenegro have seen a decline of nearly 10,000 students over the past 13 years. This trend was highlighted in a study of data from the National Statistical Office. There are many reasons behind this decline, but the key ones are the lack of investment in the absence of basic living conditions that would make life in rural areas sustainable. The principal and teacher are remembering better days.
Radim tu preko 20 godina. Pa prije bio veći broj učenika, imalo je oko 10-ak učenika da je pohađalo ovu školu. Međutim, vremena se mijenjala, pa se masovno ljudi iselili iz ovog sela, jer uslovi u ovom selu su dosta surovi i veoma teški. Živimo u selu koje, tako reći, nema ništa. Putevi, ta infrastruktura veoma katastrofalna, pitanje vode i mnogi drugi problemi koje muče ovo selo.
Over the past 30 years, the northern region of Montenegro has lost around 50,000 residents, while the country's overall population has grown during the same period. Data from 2024 shows Bijelopolje recorded the highest number of people living among all northern municipalities. Demographic trends show a decline in the share of young people within the overall population, a shift that directly impacts the education system, with fewer students in schools, ultimately leading to the closure of educational institutions in rural areas.
Ja sam i učitelj sa ovoga kraja, pa zadnja djeca koja su ovdje su Remzo Sjarića, ima još 2 djevojčice, znači za jedno 5-6 godina ne samo ova škola, nego mnoge škole će se ugasiti, a u svim selima se smanjuje broj učenika.
Škola je žila kucavica svakog sela i mjesta. I svako mjesto je živo dokle postoji škola. Čim se ugasi škola, onda života nema u tom mjestu. Tako vidim i u ovom selu. Ako se škola ugasi, život je i u ovom selu biti prašan.
The reality is harsh, once full of life, with more people than the Montenegrin coast. Today, the north of the country sends a different message of quiet villages, empty classrooms, and closed doors. Once a proud home, it now resembles a forgotten one, waiting for someone to return.
Ja bih voljela kad porastem da budem učiteljica u ovoj sad što idem u školi.
Maybe, just maybe, her dream can outlive the silence, and the north of Montenegro can one day be reborn as it once was, a vibrant, living landscape where life returns, where schools echo with joy, and where childhood belongs. Mirjana Miladinović, Across the Balkans, Bijelopolje, Montenegro.
The situation is not all grim, though. The small southern Serbian town of Tutin is bucking the trend. With no cinema or theater in town, a group of citizens decided to roll up their sleeves and do something. They have brought movies to the streets, turning public squares into spaces of connection and creativity. Katarina Petrovic has more from Serbia.
This is Tutin, a town in southern Serbia's Sandžak region where history runs deep. First mentioned as a town in 1868, Tutin evolved from a small Ottoman-era settlement into a local center of trade shaped by migration. Today, its predominantly Muslim community, a minority in Serbia, faces daily challenges and discrimination. Despite its rich history, Tutin has gone without a cinema or theater for the past 15 years, leaving a cultural void in the town.
Nisam imao priliku da idem u bioskop, pozorište, nisam imao priliku, ne znam, da koristim park za decu, ljuljaške i tako dalje. To je sve, da kažem, na tu moju generaciju uticalo negativno. Ja sam prvi put otišao u pozorište kad sam otišao da studiram u Beogradu, znači 2009. godine.
2 years ago, Mehdi Ahmedović started Save Tutin, an NGO with a simple goal, to bring cultural spaces back to town. Around 30 young people in their 20s and 30s joined in, and together they've already made a big impact with their mobile open-air cinema. In a town where traditional cinemas and theaters are almost a memory, this mobile movie screen has become a catalyst for cultural revival. The youth organization Save Tutin has transformed open spaces into temporary venues, bringing films and community events back to the heart of Tutin. The absence of a permanent cinema and theater is due to financial constraints, changing priorities, and declining attendance. The town's cultural venues fell silent as economic and social pressures took their toll.
Mladi ne crtaju, da kažem, grafite, ne bave se kulturom, ne pišu pesme, ne pišu poeziju i prozu. Na negativan način tu svoju energiju ispoljavaju. Zato što nije imao ko da ih usmeri na pravi način.
Mehdi and his organization's efforts are more than just about free movie screenings. They're about fostering community, sparking social engagement, and rekindling a sense of shared experience that's been missing for far too long. Milhad was born and raised right here in Tutin and studied in Novi Pazar. Nearly 2 decades ago, he returned home to start his own business, and now he's the president of the Tutin Municipal Assembly.
Ekstra grad, znači ne bi ga menjao za ništa na svijetu. Borimo se za svoja prava, borimo se znači da dobijemo što veću podršku kada se tiče znači vlade, države, uopšte ne možemo da budemo znači zadovoljni u tom pravcu. Koliko je to znači sigurno da bi ta podrška mogla da bude mnogo značajnija.
A considerable migration wave has compounded these issues. Many residents have sought opportunities in Western Europe. Remittances from abroad are the town's main source of funding, essential for sustaining its functioning.
Lokalna samouprava je u obavezi da raspisuje konkurse za nevladine organizacije svake godine. To ona ne čini unazad 3-4 godine. 2021. je bio poslednji konkurs i od tada se više nisu dodeljivala sredstva.
Ono što znači nas Bošnjake najviše tišti jeste da upravo ta slaba zastupljenost nas Bošnjaka, prije svega u državnim institucijama, veoma je mali procenat zastupljenosti bošnjačke populacije kada se tiče suda, tužilaštva, policije. Problemi su znači nedovoljna pažnja države prema našem kraju, nedovoljne investicije kada se tiče naše regije Sandžaka.
For local towns, the economic viability of cultural ventures can be challenging, especially if there is limited local funding or sponsorship. As Save Tutin continues to roll out its mobile cinema events, it's not just filling a gap, it's reigniting energy crucial for the town's soul.
Mi ne možemo sad da kažemo, ovi ljudi su kulturni za 100 grana. U kulturu, obrazovanje mora se ulaže mnogo i mora se ulaže konstantno da bismo tipa nakon 10, 15 ili 20 godina videli te rezultate. A ako mi 20 godina ne ulažemo u kulturu uopšte, u obrazovanje, to se vidi i to se manifestuje i treba nam znači, duplo više da bismo se vratili na onaj nivo od pre toga.
In the heart of Tutin, this group of enthusiasts is making sure the younger generation's future is brighter than their past, one film screening at a time. Katarina Petrović, Tutin, across the Balkans.
5 decades after its destruction, the Bali Mosque in the Albanian city of Elbasan has risen from the ashes to become one of the world's most beautiful religious architectural wonders. It was one of Albania's most notable mosques until the communist regime ordered it, along with many other religious buildings, to be demolished. Ömer Saraci has more from Albania.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
After many years of being unable to pray at his beloved place of worship in Albania, Sherif Ruci is excited to return to the Balie Mosque after it was demolished during the communist regime in 1967. The mosque in the city of Elbasan was rebuilt in 2022 and its doors were reopened to worshippers. Sherif, now 76 years old, was 18 when the communists, armed with pickaxes and shovels, destroyed the centuries-old Balizade Mosque to signal the rise of a new doctrine, one that rejected faith and tradition in favor of unwavering obedience to the party state. The mosque's restoration is profoundly significant for the Muslim community of Elbasan. It is an act of historical and spiritual justice.
Kam reagjuar edhe tinës gjatë asë regjimit komunist. Në atë kohë kam mësuar dhe Koranin, se qysh atëherë kam mësuar tek një ndjerë, një hoxh i ndjerë, edhe filluam të lexojmë Koranin dhe kam falë edhe taravih vetë.
Si u ndjeve një 15 vjeçar në momentin që po prisheshe objekti jot I kultit?
Shumë e vështirë. Saqë nuk targoj edhe sot e ndjem atë vështirësi, domethënë sepse
The new mosque was built where the Balizade Mosque once stood, a landmark of great architectural value from the Ottoman era, built in 1608. Unfortunately, the old mosque met a tragic fate in 1967, much like many other religious sites during Enver Hoxha's brutal regime.
The mosque's reconstruction in its original location, now with a modern design and expanded capacity, it's not only a testament to Albania's architectural revival, but also a powerful symbol of resilience and cultural preservation.
Kur ne e hodhëm si ide, pat një fakt që ndanë në dy grupe, një pjesë besimtarë kishin dëshirë që të kishin xhaminë e vjetër dhe grupi tjetër kishin mendim që të kishin një xhami tjetër, një xhami më moderne dhe më afrueshme për besimtarë musliman. Vendosë që të kemi një xhami që të jetë sa më moderne dhe sa më praktike për besimtarë musliman dhe të jetë pra xhamia e kohës.
ArcDaily, the world's most visited online platform for the architecture and design community, has deemed the Bali Mosque the most beautiful religious architecture of the year. The architect Tutin shares insights on the dilemmas faced in designing a new mosque versus replicating the old architecture.
Për të qenë në fakt më të sinqert dhe për ta respektuar më mirë objektin e vjetër, ne ndërmorëm një vendim për mos ta replikuar atë, sepse vërtet do të ishte e pamundur ta replikonim siç duhej dhe për të gjetur teknikën e duhur, materialet e duhura, ustallaret e duhur, njohurinë e duhur, kështu që ne vendosëm që të qëndrojmë duke respektuar parimet e arkitekturës islame dhe të bëjmë një interpretim i cili do të ishte më bashkëkohor.
Beyond its religious significance, the restoration of the mosque is also a key moment for Elbasan's identity. It restores a vital piece of its rich history and proves that culture and heritage can endure even after the darkest periods. Omer Saraci, across the Balkans, Elbasan.
Thank you for watching TRT World and letting us once again take you across the Balkans. That is all from the team for this week. We hope to see you next time. Bye-bye, or as they say in Romania, la revedere!